Every single goal you're watching right now has one thing in common: a clean first touch. Just one small moment that decides everything that is going to happen next. And that's the part most people never think about. Because if your first touch is bad, you have already lost the play before it even begins. In FC26, the first touch is less forgiving. You can't just spam sprint anymore and expect to keep control. The new dribbling system means your player's body shape, direction, and timing matter more than ever now, because if you do it right, you're going to beat your defender like he wasn't even there. If you're facing the wrong way or already holding sprint, your touch goes away from you and the defender wins it easily. But here's what separates good players from the top players: they use their first touch to attack the space. Touch into space, you buy yourself time to shoot or to pass. You decide in that half second, and that half second is the entire difference between panic and composure. This game is all about composure. If your first touch isn't good, you will not be able to become a good player. Top players already know what they're going to do before the ball even arrives. That's what makes everything look smooth. That is what increases your tempo. It is all about situational awareness. Just think about how many times you have had the right idea, you saw the run, you pressed the pass, but the ball just got stuck under your player's feet. Let me take you straight to the practice arena, guys. The amount of players who are still holding the R2 RT button on the first touch is insane. When you do this, you have bad ball contact, and that way you have bad tempo because you are now taking longer on the ball and it gives your opponent an opportunity to tackle the ball. This is exactly why good players latch on to you before you even receive the ball, because they know where you are going to take a touch. So many of my coaching trainees are just taking touches wherever they want. Look, how many times have you actually thought consciously of where you're going to take the first touch with the left stick? Your left stick determines where your first touch is going to be. Either it's going to be left, down, up, or wherever. So many of you just keep holding the left stick wherever you want. So if you just hold left stick randomly and then afterwards try to change directions with dribbling, you are dribbling slower, you are killing the momentum of your attack. Listen to me. If you are doing this, you are going to kill your attack. This is why you need to stop this habit. You need to fix this habit of just randomly taking a touch wherever, because so many of you first take a touch and then try to dribble the opponent, whereas you should always be attacking the space on your first touch. Once you attack the space, that is when you can accelerate using a R1 touch, that is your control sprint, or you can perform a skill move. It is because your first touch is bad that you are not able to accelerate or play at a higher tempo like good players. So if you don't know where to take your first touch, a good rule of thumb is to always take the first touch from where the ball is coming. See, I'm going to pass the ball towards Vinicius and take a touch towards Mbappe with the left stick. This way, at least I will always make sure that I am keeping possession of the ball. I recommend starting out like this, where you practice taking a touch in the direction where you are receiving the ball from. Once you have gotten good with this way of taking the first touch, I then recommend always taking a touch towards the space. You will always notice before the ball is coming towards you, where is the space? And point the left stick towards that space before the ball even reaches you. That is when your player will take the correct first touch towards the space, which you can then exploit. You stop panicking, you start seeing plays before they happen. And that's exactly what I teach inside my school community. We are almost at 100 members now. It's not just random tutorials, it's a complete breakdown of how to think and play like a top player. Take a look at this chance, guys, with reindeers. Now I am being pressed. So many of you guys simply just turn towards the defender with the left stick. If I were to point my left stick towards Musiala in this position, or towards Rodman, or even towards Rafinha, there is a big chance that I end up losing the ball. Therefore, I take a touch in the direction where the ball is coming from, as you can see on my left stick, and I just perform a first time pass. I don't even take a touch, right? Now see, I take a touch towards the space because that is where the space is. Now, I don't take a touch towards Rafinha. Why? Because that is very predictable. I take a touch towards the space, as you can see, with the left stick, and that will allow me to pass the ball, to keep the ball moving. I take a touch towards Rafinha. I'd always take a touch towards the space. See, now with reindeers, I take a touch downwards because I want to pass the ball to De Jong, who is on the edge of the box. If I were to take a touch towards Claudia Pina, Kimmich will win the ball back from me. These are little, subtle details that you don't notice. I take a touch again towards the space so I can actually end up taking the finish shot, right? See, again, there are no magic buttons. It's just your left stick. With Pina, where should I take the first touch? Where is the space? Downwards. So that is where I take the first touch and I end up scoring this goal. Otherwise, this goal will not be possible. I don't hold sprint over here. Why? Because if I were to hold the sprint button, like I have explained, Pina will take a heavier touch. If she takes a heavier touch, Saliba is going to win the ball from her. Therefore, I just simply accept the ball towards the space. This is where the space is. Now, afterwards, I just move in the space, right? See, here with Alexia, I need to take a touch towards the front of my player because that is where the space is. I am not going to take a touch like this. Van de Ven will simply win the ball from me. This is why it is so important to focus on what you are doing on the ball. I do a first time fake shot over there, which works as well, right? You're always going to attack the space. When you attack the space, you'll have a higher tempo. When you have a higher tempo, you will score goals. The only reason you should be sprinting is when you have ample of space in front of you. For example, on the wings, right? See, here, I take a touch towards Frankie de Jong because Saliba is on my back. If I were to point the left stick like most players would in this situation and on the first touch try to take this shot, I will end up missing it because obviously Saliba is on my back. Therefore, I take a touch in the direction the ball is coming from, which will then allow me to set up my first touch and end up scoring an easy goal. Look, guys, I just turn. Thanks to my first touch, shot cancel, I end up scoring goals. Now you realize a correct first touch is the foundation of a good attack. If your first touch is not good, if you are just pointing the left stick wherever you are wanting to point it, then guys, you will not have success in this game. Now that you know the importance of first touch, you also need to learn how to defend against players who attack like this. Therefore, you need to check this video out here.